All right, guys. You'll never guess what we're what we're doing. We're doing here. Colleen Ballinger's back. So I know it's November, but I guess I lost. My wife's giving me a really negative look from the corner after hearing that joke. Anyway, Colleen Ballinger's back. You know, I don't know. I guess we can. I don't know how much of a recap we need on the past, but I'll give you the censored version since we're pretty early in the video. Listen, Colleen Ballinger acted very inappropriate with her platform. She's not a groomer. She wasn't trying to set people up for some kind of exploitation, but she had a negative impact on people. You know, that's the short end of it. If you want to look into the long end of it, you can. But my short take is that what she did was incredibly inappropriate. But she wasn't trying to groom people. And yeah, you can disagree if you want. That's the reality. You know, let's see let's see what she has to say.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I've really missed this. I've missed talking to everyone.
Me too, Colleen. I missed you so much. Who even knew she was gone, dude?
Obviously, the last video that I posted on here is really embarrassing.
Kind of the song of the summer. Let's be real.
To say the least. I was being accused of some pretty awful things, and
Sure.
I just was mad. And
yeah, when I get mad, I start singing and rapping. Or, well, she wasn't rapping, but that's how I like to do it. I like to rap personally.
I should have handled that situation with maturity and empathy, but instead I
Sure,
just let my ego
yeah.
take over, and I'm really disappointed in myself.
I still honestly don't know how it's weird. My wife's in the corner. It's like eating popcorn. It's weird. It's like I'm performing in front of a person. It was kind of it was weird that your PR team even let you do a song. I wonder if they were going to try to go with the mentally insane angle. You know, she just went fucking crazy. It's like, yeah, look at her. She's crazy. And then they're trying to run that. I don't really know. I really don't know what they were thinking with that one.
So here's what I want to say today.
Okay.
Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature.
Sure.
And
I mean, her whole content was immaturity, you know? It was just going, oh, yeah, yeah, over songs. Wasn't that her whole thing? Making like poopy fart jokes and like childish humor, right? Like not like me, you know? I do very sophisticated humor, of course.
inappropriate with some of my comedy.
Sure.
And there were times when I did not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions.
Yeah, I mean, it is still kind of weird that you got as close to your fans. I mean, we've seen so much that it's very clear that she wasn't especially trying to sexually exploit any of these people. But still, you should have known better. It's like really bizarre stuff. You know, it's the same thing with like we covered. I don't know which video I'll have out first, but when it comes to like just pearly things, where she interviewed like a 15-year-old about abortion, and then like was having a somewhat sexual conversation with them, and it's like just like you should just know better. That's what got her demonetized. Like, you should just you're an adult. I mean, come on. At this point, like just for your own preservation, why would you? Like, it's just weird. Why would you even get close to fans? I hate all my fans. I hate all of you. I'm just kidding. I saw a fan at Disney. He was a cool guy, and he marked all the stamps on my cheese tour in Epcot. Hopefully, I don't get him in trouble for that. I told him I wouldn't tell Mickey Mouse, so don't tell Mickey Mouse.
And because of that behavior, people got hurt.
Sure, yeah,
And
I agree.
am so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that nobody really wants to engage with. But the reality is that you don't have to try to cause some kind of harm in some capacity for harm to be caused. And I think a big part of when I talk about this Colleen Ballinger thing, excuse me, is again like what she did was incredibly inappropriate with her fan interactions. She needed to be more responsible. But I don't think that she had any intention of actually causing any level of harm. I think that she thought these were just jokes. You know, when the fan would ask, like, "Oh, what should I do for my Q&A?" It's like, "Oh, that's about your favorite sex position." It's like, that's inappropriate. It's just weird to even talk about that. When she's dumping about her whole life to, you know, a teenager about like her and her ex-husband or you know, her husband at the time. It's like, what are you doing? Like, that's just irresponsible. It's, you know, and I'm sure there's some harm done in general. There's, you know, obviously a laundry list of other dumb shit that she's done. But that doesn't mean that she had to intentionally want to cause some kind of an issue for it to happen. And I think that's something that people should try to understand. The intentionality of what's going on. I mean, we know so much, you know, so.
I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I
I did.
did.
Sorry.
And I feel so terrible about that.
Okay.
I also feel like there's probably people who are disappointed or feel abandoned by me because of my silence over the last few months. And I'm so sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah, sure. I wish that there was a better response like this one. I mean, the reality is there's no response that she's going to give that's going to make everybody happy. Sometimes you have to just kind of cut through some of the noise and say what you don't need to say, and be a mature adult about it, and then just kind of move on. It would have been nice if she did that before leaving instead of giving us a beautiful song of the summer. Though, yeah, I mean, really, what did we get out of that? I mean, let's be honest. It was like the Nickelback. It was like a Nickelback of the YouTube drama sphere. I mean, everybody says they hated it, but it was kind of. But I caught myself humming it. I couldn't stop.
As well, I needed to take time to
Yeah.
make sure I was listening and learning as much as possible.
That's obviously not true. Let's just be real. Like, you had a fucking mental breakdown and then you just had to leave and came back with like a PR speech. Like, I had to take some time to listen. This was all calculated. This is basically what she's saying. Subtextual argument. Yeah, I had to be real calculated in this. I was taking some time to listen. You were. You're fucking. You just went fucking insane. And now you're coming back and you're like, well, I did that on purpose. I just had to listen. Stop. If anything, she waited for the atmosphere to calm itself down, just enough time that she felt, at least, that things have calmed down, while returning fast enough to start collecting that YouTube dollars, which, I get it. You got to make a living. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
And I also needed to get the help that I needed to be okay.
Okay. I'm not really that concerned with like, not to be rude. I know internet drama, or not even internet drama. I know that the response, in my opinion, was incredibly disproportionate. But also, I don't really care too much about like a millionaire's tears. Like, I don't give a shit.
I'm a mom first and foremost before anything else, and
Okay, fair enough.
I needed to take care of my kids. So
Cool.
that's where I've been, and but I'm back
Okay.
and I'm here now, and
Okay.
I am not a perfect person.
Well, unfortunate for you, because I am.
And there are plenty of things in my past that I wish I could go back and redo. And
Yeah, I think about that too. Going back in time and redoing some of my past. I've never done anything like this, but I'm at a point now where I wouldn't want to go back and change anything, because then maybe I wouldn't have met my wife. So who knows? You know what I mean? She's not listening. She's just fucking sitting there eating goddamn popcorn, whatever. I guess I'm not getting any tonight.
fix and change.
Sure.
I don't have control over any of that, and I don't have control over the things people say about me. I only have control over my actions moving forward. And so I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that I create a positive, kind, inclusive, safe space online with my content.
I mean, sure. Here's the reality: it's like a cancellation is like 80% the way that you feel. Realistically speaking, most people who get canceled, it's more of a personal mentality where it weighs on you, stresses you out, either makes you want to stop making content, or it reduces how good your content is because you're so stressed out or worried, or you have such a drastic content shift, like an iDub scenario where he overcorrect, which I think that the apology was reasonable, but the overcorrection, that's a different conversation for a different day. And so sometimes you can just write it out. If you don't care, people just move on. I think that realistically speaking, people looked at the internet response, and a lot of people were like, yeah, it's bad. Like, what she did was bad. But they realized that this groomer narrative being applied to her was not particularly productive or accurate. And they look at it and go like, yeah, what she did was wrong. But there's obviously like a pathway to redemption here. She didn't groom anybody, especially not sexually. And a lot of people say, well, it's not necessarily sexual. And I understand that, but then they'll follow it up with some of the inappropriate sexual things that she did. Like, oh, what's your favorite sex position, as a Q&A question. And, asking girls about their period, which isn't sexual, by the way. It's just weird. Unless you're Erica Bizink from TikTok, who likes to smell young girls' feet. Look that up. That's a real predator, in my opinion. So I think a lot of people are kind of cutting through the narrative and going like, okay, whatever. Like, for me, I don't like her or care about her in general. I don't like her any more or less now. She fucked up. I guess who hasn't in general. I'm not going to watch her. I never did. but there's going to be people who are going to watch her. But a lot of people aren't going to be very vocal in opposition to the general narrative because it's not really productive for anybody. It falls into, that's just the reality. I guess I learned that firsthand, in my, making sure we use the word groomer accurately to a fault where it had like, people got a little upset with me. I probably should have just covered it and moved on. But I made, probably didn't have to do a couple of, maybe one of the videos. I think I made the first video, then the follow-up would have been fine. That deep dive, and then cover the apology. Not the one in between, but hey, life is life, brother. But yeah, there's people that aren't really going to be covering it in general. They're not going to be covered, like JoJo Siwa, for instance. People basically called her the victim of a groomer victim from Colleen. Like, no, of course not. That's like silly. I think JoJo pretty much had summed that up pretty well. If more people are invested in this in general, like other spheres of YouTube, there'd be a big, people would be countering the narrative. But it's really just not worth engaging with some aspects of it, So yeah, whatever.
And if you want to be a part of my journey online, I would love to have you. And if not, I
don't care.
Understand.
But I don't. Okay.
I do not expect anyone to welcome me back with open arms. I don't expect to change anyone's mind with this video. I just wanted to come on here and say that I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that she really ever could. So.
And I wanted to try to show people that it's possible for someone to grow and learn and be better after making mistakes many, many years ago.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, again, that depends on the proportionality of the mistake. I don't think that she made an irredeemable mistake, personally. That's supposed to be the whole thing as like a progressive in general, a true progressive, not somebody who just weaponizes progressive values as a virtue signal of examining somebody's behavior. And, we never going to know 100% her intentions, of course, because you don't have access to her internal thoughts and experiences. But we can look at the external interactions, what she's said and done, and the way that had an impact, and we could look through that and parse through it and go like, okay, what she did was wrong, but I don't think that she intended to harm anybody. There was that aspect where it seemed like she would use some of her fans to bully people for her, which is shitty, but outside of that, she didn't commit like a fucking murder. So yeah, I mean, sure, I think that she can move on and get better. People can use her the bad things that she did from a harm reduction perspective and examine it and go like that. Here's what not to do. Specifically, how to interact with fans. Here's what it's not to do. Use this as a learning experience for boundaries and whatnot. One of the things I've always said, or not always, but in this scenario, is she started blowing up in somewhat of a new-ish sphere. I would say that, especially during COVID times, but, micro celebrities became more and more popular. And back in the day, people would have, when you became a big star, everybody had a manager. You'd generally get scouted out, and then your pathway would be somewhat of a straight shot. Everything was curated. Everything was kind of managed for you, how you would talk, what you'd say, what you'd decide, anything. Especially back in the day, people's political opinions and affiliations weren't even talked about. That's somewhat new in a very politicized world. I'd argue since like post 9/11, where we ran the 24-hour news cycle, and now everybody's for some reason interested in what fucking celebrities have to say about everything. People having meltdowns on Brittany Broski because she doesn't give her, in-depth perspective on an incredibly complicated controversy going on in the Middle East. And some people say it's hypocritical because she had a whole tirade about some other topic about how you should speak up and use your voice. But that topic, not as complicated as Israel Palestine. Yeah. And so I think that her intention was probably to, be close to her fans and appreciate them and like them. But one goes too far and not understanding like a boundary issue.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Sure.
I'm going to try to vlog again. And today I'm just going to...
Me too, guys. Go follow the Robin Danch.
Film my day and share some simple, happy moments. And, start the process of starting over.
Cool.
And I know it's going to be awkward and clunky at first.
Okay.
So try to get back into the swing of things, but I'm going to try. So that's what I'm going to do. And thank you for listening, and thank you to anyone who supported me in any capacity over the last 15 years. I've really, really appreciated it.
Cool.
But yeah, let's get started with the day and see what happens, I guess. I honestly do not know how to transition.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it was just the first few minutes of the video. There's really not a whole lot else. Now she just vlogs.
This conversation into a lot, but Let's try.
I think. I mean, I guess maybe I'll kind of run through it at quick speed to see if she says anything else of relevance. But
And so much has happened since the last time I vlogged. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, the majority of the last few months has just been spent in therapy. But other than that, the twins just turned 2.
really, like, I don't know. How much should we believe that? First of all, how long do you go to therapy for? An hour? An hour? Even 3 times a week? Would you trying to convince us you spend fucking 40 hours a week in therapy? Come on. I'm sure she went to a therapist. There's probably a lot of heat that she got on her. But I'm so worn down by the therapy argument. It's nowadays, maybe it's just me being skeptical, but it's always like, oh, I'm going to therapy. It makes me feel like, okay. Like, did you? Or is this just another virtue signal of like, oh, I did better? Hopefully she did. Hopefully it was a productive conversation. Hopefully there's no conflict of interest with her therapist knowing who she is as a celebrity and being too charitable to her, you know. But
2, which is wild. Flynn's gonna be 5 soon. They had a really fun Halloween, and we actually still have some Halloween decorations up, so I'll have to show you some of those. I usually have already decorated for Christmas completely by this point, but I'm a little late to that this year. I think the last time I vlogged, we had just gotten 4 of our chickens. They were little baby chicks, and now obviously they're full-grown hens. And if
you gonna kill them and eat them?
You were watching me before I took a break, you would know that I love my chickens very much. So we started by going down to chicken coop, getting eggs, and checking on the chickens, and
I guess she's not gonna eat them.
letting them run around a little bit. So I think I'm gonna take you down there and show you the chicken coop that we built, and then we'll go through the rest of the day and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys want to see our new coop? Ta-da! There's the chicken
I was expecting a car.
coop. This is where all my little babies live. I love our chicken coop so much. And it's like, let me out. This is Midnight's and Taxi. They have a little swing in here. Here's the little Miss Applesauce on her swing. She's definitely the leader of the pack. She likes people. She's not scared of people. But she's not very nice to the rest. Like, she is the leader of the pack for sure. We let them free roam in the backyard when we're here. We only let them out if we're watching them. Excuse you, Applesauce. I heard someone laying an egg a bit ago, so I'm gonna check and see. Oh, there's an egg. Cute little egg. Let's find the other girls. This little girly girl is Miss Tiger. This is Dog. And over there is Miscellaneous. They're just looking for bugs and treats, and they're so cute. So another thing that I was kind of vlogging a lot about prior to the
I mean, I know I have it on English Pete, but who likes this type of like constant transition shit? Like maybe I'm just low effort.
halting of vlogging was harvesting things. Like, I feel like I was harvesting a lot of artichokes. Basically, nothing's growing now except for we have a lot of spiders. Anyway, I'm gonna go put this egg inside. Oh my god, I just jerked. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys some of our Halloween decorations. Oh no, I made the spider web with hot glue. There's one of each of us. That's me.
All right, I feel like
These is missing.
I feel like we've satisfied it. Oh, look, it's Halloween, and they made horrible looking shit cookies, and here's her talking.
Toy truck a while ago, and with it came a little catalog. In the catalog, just all the different toy trucks they have.
All right, toy trucks, toy fucks, who gives a shit? Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. I mean, I have no interest in talking about Colleen Ballinger ever again. She's back. Cool. I think that she can exist in YouTube. She's always going to be part of like the T channels cycle now. Her, Trisha Paytas, James Charles, and you know everything else just over and over and over again, talking about those topics through like a non-nuanced or educated lens. Not to be rude. To end this off, you know, I understand. I'm just a big fat fuck YouTuber, but generally speaking, I like to look at the world through a harm reductionist lens in a way of trying to examine particular behaviors, trying to understand why people engage in them, trying to understand people's true intentions so we can move forward from an educated perspective, you know, identifying who's a good person and a bad person. And maybe I'm at a point where I'm super callous. Maybe I'm at a point where I'm able to almost look at inhuman people and behaviors and humanize them. Maybe there's some kind of morbid fascination or curiosity that I have in particular fucked up behaviors, and maybe that's why my take on Colleen Ballinger isn't as sensationalized as the YouTube atmosphere says it should be. Or maybe people are sensationalizing it for clicks and views, or maybe it's a little bit of both. I don't know. But anyway, so ends the Colleen Ballinger saga.